How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Reel Nothern Bass. While my buddy hooks up with the fish in the front, I'm literally about to start talking to you all about what we consider power fishing for post-spawn largemouth. This is an adorable example of what we've been doing all day. And plus side, the most recent stream we just did for Reel Nothern Bass Talk, we specifically talked about this topic, where we were talking about post-spawn, shallow water, power fishing. Number of different ways you can go about doing this, but when you're talking about power fishing, it is effectively, efficiently, and quickly covering water. So for us, there's like probably 20 different things that I could do that would fill that niche, right? That kind of different fishing technique, for lack of a better way to put it. But there's really probably 5 things that I would say are like my absolute go-tos. I'm going to show you just 3 examples because these are like very easy, very straightforward. But the first thing I'll mention that I don't have on hand right now is spinnerbait. Spinnerbait is phenomenal, but the thing is I find it most effective when I'm fishing in windy conditions. So like today would normally be a good day. Some days, however, they just don't want to follow and chase down something that is that loud, right? It's a bigger profile, it's got a lot of thump and or flash, depending upon what kind of blades and weight on the spinnerbait that you're using. So what are some other highly effective power fishing techniques that could get the job done that, you know, again, still covering water effectively and efficiently? My number one go-to, y'all are no stranger to that, is a jig. And I will typically go with a 1/2 ounce to start, but on a day like today, they actually wanted 3/8 ounce. It had to come down a little bit slower. On the plus side though, they were either hitting it on the fall or hitting it the moment it hit the bottom. So just something real simple, like in this case where we're fishing a lake with a lot of vegetation, it's an Arky head style, that's the Vanquish jig from Beast Coast Fishing. Stealth crawl just paired with a simple Strike King Rage crawl. I like a lot of action in the trailer at this time of the year. You know, now we're talking 65 degrees for the water temp, maybe a little bit warmer. And that's really, really good for covering a myriad variety of structure. Doesn't matter if it's wood, rock, grass, that Arky head will slide through everything. It's jack of all trades and I can do it fast. If I have a 1/2 ounce, I can do it a lot faster, but you gotta play with it. You know, if you're really interested in fishing jigs, I recommend at this time of the year that you run 2 jigs, a 3/8 and a 1/2 ounce. And you can keep it natural. You know, once you get into that over 60 degrees, you can stick with a lot of green browns for your kind of clear lakes, or just stick with black with the blue flake for your dirtier water. That is our go-to, because that's just the way I like to fish. Right behind that, swim jig with a swim bait. That is by far the most, in my opinion, especially for like kettle ponds, which are these smaller bodies of water you find all over the Northeast, the New England, the northern half of the country, where you have a ton of vegetation, and those bass like to be up in that, especially if any wind's kicking up or the bait fish are pushed up. That's a really, really good, like, you know, fairly subtle way of covering water really, really fast and highly effective. I like to keep the profile on this a lot smaller. I will throw a very light weight. I'll go 3/16 or a 1/4 ounce. Rarely will I go up to 3/8 ounce, and I usually only use about a 3.5 inch swim bait on the back when I'm doing that. I want something that looks like a small bait fish that's up there that's trying to eat. And usually you kind of get that after the post-spawn of largemouth, you get perch that kind of come back up and all the bluegill and everything. They're trying to come up and eat all that fry. So I want it to look like just a little bait fish that's up in there trying to get a piece of that morsel. Yeah, that morsel. Trying to get it on the fry. So it looks very natural, a natural predator to largemouth, and it's good. If you find yourselves in some really thick vegetation that you need to be able to get through fast, but you don't want to do it too fast, right? This is more efficient than it is, well, I would say effective more than it is efficient, right? Still is efficient, but you're trying to go through it a little bit more methodically, not power your way through really, really fast that you would say with a swing jig or a jackhammer, bladed jig, or a spinnerbait, right? But if they're thick vegetation, it's really hard to beat a weightless Texas rig fluke. That is one of my absolute go-tos when I know that they are stacked up shallow in some thicker vegetation, because that is essentially a soft body jerkbait. I can take that and I can work that through the water extremely fast, but the moment I kill it, it presents itself as a very, very slow, subtle finesse presentation. So you kind of get the best of both worlds with something like that. Now I'm kind of a madman. I throw that on one of my other jig rod setups. This is a 7.2 medium heavy fast, but it kind of fishes more like a medium. I can sling that, and that's on straight 15 pounds. How you doing?
Hi.
But I can get that, like I can literally cast this 150 feet, if not further, which is good. So I can cover a lot of water because I can get far with it. I work it fast like a jerkbait. Like I will go twitch, 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 pause, twitch, 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 pause, and then I'll kind of vary it, but like I'm cracking that thing along to the point where I'm either keeping it just about a foot below the surface or I'll get it to flick up to the surface. It kind of looks like a bait fish escaping. I have done that for years. Today was like perfect example of just how effective that can be because I got that to work both ways, where I let it sink down to the bottom and I kind of twitch it up and out, get it to the middle or just below the surface. And then plenty of other times where I got up into some of those thicker, lily pads are about, 2 inches in diameter. The really, really small lily pads that end up coming up really, really dense. And we knew they were in there. I can get something like that through there wicked easy without batting an eye, and I can cover it fast. So those are absolutely my 3 go-tos for that. The only other thing that I would say to throw in there that we didn't mention is depending upon your cover, like a crankbait, obviously a square bill, or kind of something simple like the Rapala DT4 or DT6 series. Like those are wicked good crankbaits for this time of the year. And you can do Texas rig as well. Texas rig, as weird as it sounds, swim it. You don't have to just flip it in there like a jig and bottom, lift, drop, lift. Do that too, but swim the thing too. As long as you've got some sort of trailer on the back of that, some sort of soft body bait that has a lot of action in the legs, you can work that on the bottom and just straight retrieve it. And you'd be surprised how effective that can be. As long as it's got a lot of action on it, it looks like a little bait fish fleeing, you're good to go. That is power fishing in a nutshell for post-spawn largemouth, specifically largemouth. Smallmouth will be a little bit of a different animal. We'll cover that another day. But hopefully this more condensed version of, again, that live stream we did for Reel Northern Bass Talk. We do it every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. We covered that extensively for about an hour and a half. I just gave you like the 8-minute version, so I hope that was helpful for you. If it was, thank you very much for watching it, enjoying it. Drop a like on the video, please. Subscribe if you haven't. Catch you in the next one.